Hi, everybody. This is Bob Goodwin, and welcome to another episode of Career Club's LinkedIn Live series. Thank you again for joining, and we're very happy to have you. If you're not familiar with Career Club, please check us out at career.club, where we're using proven sales and marketing tools and techniques to help people find a career that matters to them. Today's episode is actually pre-recorded. Our guest, we were lucky to get on his schedule at all. So today's is pre-recorded, so we don't have the opportunity to do comments or questions live. But as you hear things when you're watching this or listening to the podcast, please do feel free to make comments and or share this episode with colleagues you think might be interested. I'd also like to thank my colleague, Joey Pace, for making this episode happen. So Joey, thank you so much. And with that, I'd like to welcome our guest today. It's Deepak Jose, who is the global head of one-to-man analytics at Mars Wrigley. Deepak, welcome.
Thanks, Bob. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm really excited to be here.
No, we're very excited to have you. So I have to ask you, I'm just immediately noticing in the background, the big lion. What's up with the lion?
Well, that's a good question to begin with. I'll start with a short story to begin with. This is something one of my mentors taught me when I was starting my career in data and analytics. So let me ask you this question. Do you know how do lions hunt gazelles?
Well, first of all, I'm asking the questions, not answering. How do lions hunt gazelles? They come up from behind them.
No. Yes, but gazelles run twice as fast as lions. They run really fast. Okay. See, essentially what the lions do, the young lions chase the gazelles. They run really fast. They cannot catch them. But the older lions would be waiting and hiding. When these gazelles are close by, they would just jump and roar. Out of the fear, the gazelles forgets how to run. They just stand still. Essentially, you can call it as something like a deer in front of a headlight. This is what is happening there. And lions would have them for their lunch. But do you know how do the gazelles escape? The gazelles, those who escape, they continue to run towards the lion and they can simply jump through them. Gazelles are fast, they are agile, and they just need to have the courage to run through. Now, my mentor told me this story about data and analytics profession and the talent. Most of the data scientists and engineers, these are very young talent who can move really fast. They are quite agile. But when you go to large organization, you might find a lion who has been there for several years and you are challenging the orthodoxy in the organization. So if there is one skill set a data and analytics talent should have, it is the courage to challenge the status quo if you have to stay alive. So that story stuck with me. During pandemic, I had quite an empty background, saw a good picture of lion. So here the lion. And that's the context of this lion.
Great, but it's the courage to challenge the orthodoxy. And particularly in a large company. We could riff on that for an hour, and I'm not going to go there, but that is such a great mentality to bring to it. So that's cool. Super quick, we ask our normal icebreaker questions. Where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised in India, in the southern state of India called Kerala. I studied in Kerala in one of the regional engineering colleges. I'm a mechanical engineer by trade. Started my career with Asha Brown Bovary. Started working in India. Then it took me across the globe. I came to the United States for doing my MBA. I started my career with Coca-Cola company post my MBA. Yeah. Had a fantastic opportunity to work with different teams at Coke. So I worked for Coca-Cola North America, worked for one of the largest Coke bottlers, which gave me a perspective of not only how to build a strategy, but as a bottler, how do they execute from a day-to-day standpoint as well. Later on, before joining Mars, I did a stint as an analytics consulting expert for retail and CPG industry for one of the analytics services companies in the world called Mu Sigma. And I've been with Mars for the last 4 years.
Nice, very good. Jumping over lines as you go. Where'd you get your MBA?
I went to the George Washington University School of Business in Washington, D.C.
Very cool. That's awesome. And then you just a little bit about your family.
So I have, my parents are still based out of India. I have a younger sister. I'm in New Jersey along with my wife. I think I met her at my first job. Both of us joined as management trainees at Ashia Brown Boveri, ABB. So I know her. She was a colleague first, and now my wife. Now she's my boss as well, actually. That's what I would say.
My daughter did the same thing. She met her husband in a management training thing, and I think you're exactly right. She's the boss. You did a nice job of your career arc, so that was helpful. And then, what do we find you doing when you're not at work? What kind of things are you interested in outside of work?
Outside work, I spend a lot of time with my wife in the weekends in New Jersey hiking. So I really like to be outside. We love traveling. We love to explore new places, new culture. But there is something which I am quite passionate about when it comes to contributing back to the society. That is through helping young upcoming talent to become better public speakers. When it comes to, so I'm part of an organization called Toastmasters International. Yes. I'm a distinguished Toastmaster. So I work and mentor coach budding Toastmasters how to give their best. How can they become a better storyteller? So that's something I'm quite passionate about.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that. I just learned something. That's why we do these. I was just last week giving the advice to somebody that was struggling with effectively communicating their own background and bringing the proper level of energy and just passion in telling their own story. I said, what you might benefit from is Toastmasters. That might be a really good forum for you to learn how to tell stories in general, and in particular your own story, in a clear and compelling way. So
absolutely. So when I joined Toastmasters during my stint at Coca-Cola. So Coca-Cola has a Toastmaster Club, which is more than 50 plus years old. It's called the 310 North Toastmasters, which is the address of Coke building in Atlanta. And I think you will see the leaders at Coke, the CMOs to the heads of the organizations, the presidents would come and speak at the club, inspiring young talent associates to become better speakers. And I'm a non-native English speaker. English is my third language. So moving to the United States to speak concisely in a corporate environment, Toastmasters was really helpful for me. And I would encourage anybody who wants to become a better public speaker to consider Toastmasters.
No, that's phenomenal advice. So I think I already botched your title, so let's read it one more time. Global Head of On-Demand Data and Analytics Solutions at Mars Wrigley. What's the kind of 30-second version of what that's about, what the initiative is that you lead?
Absolutely. So we use the one demand. That could mean multiple things for many people. So one demand is not about demand planning. One demand, the idea of one demand is about breaking the silos between the functions within an organization, like between sales, marketing, supply chain, and how can we think beyond the function and think about enterprise first. At Mars, we call it one demand. And the purpose of this team, the data analytics team, is to leverage data analytics and technology to solve the most complex business problems for the organization and help drive value creation. And by value creation, it is not really for Mars. We think about it in a mutual way. It is for Mars, our customers, our consumers, and all the associates. We think about it as a triple bottom line: the people, the planet, and the profits.
Yes, no, that makes sense. So the notion, though, I know that we want to talk about this, of just breaking down those silos, and it sounds like that's probably an apt area to think about lions and gazelles again, because people do have their fiefdoms, right? And they've got their organizations, So how do you be an effective gazelle in that environment?
So very good question. See, why are organizations trying to break down the silos is the first question that I want to address. See, the world has changed. If you look at since the pandemic, if you have never shopped online, I'm sure that during the pandemic, people have started changing. Have started changing their behaviors and started buying things online. So we are operating in a complex omnichannel world. So as an organization like Mars, we have multiple consumer touch points. You can interact with your consumers through our D2C channels like M&M stores or mnms.com. You go to the large brick and clicks, like you would see our products being sold at Walmart, Tesco, Carrefour, etc. The pure play like Amazon or Alibaba. We also have these days emerging channels like on-demand delivery aggregators, so which is Instacart, Deliveroo, Delivery Hero, etc. So there are a lot of touch points. You also hear about your brand through the contents and reviews that you would see in the site. You will see through Google search, the national search. So it's a very complex, connected world. But essentially, what is happening in large organizations? I mean, this is applicable for all large organizations. We are going back to another animal analogy. You might have heard the story of blind people touching an elephant. Somebody touching the trunk of an elephant, calling it something, the leg of an elephant, calling it something, tail something else, right? And this is happening. The elephant being the consumer, which is the most important part in the conversation. The sales explains the consumer a different way. The marketing explains a different way. Supply chain, it goes on and on. So we need to describe the elephant as it is. And that is the biggest aspect of breaking the silo. And breaking the silo essentially means that as a data and analytics professional, you need to build a single source of truth when we are talking about the consumer. It cannot be a source of truth for the sales. It cannot be a source of truth for supply chain. It cannot be a source of truth for marketing. We need to stop thinking about data analytics as a connected entity, a connected data and analytics ecosystem. That's the first aspect. And it comes to the behavior of the organization as well. How can we encourage the associates in large organization to think enterprise first, function second? So that's how we'll be able to drive that change.
And that seems like that would, by definition, need to be something that the executive leadership team is totally bought into.
Absolutely. And the sponsor of our on-demand data and analytics program is this chief financial officer of the company. And we have been mandated to drive this transformation by the president of Mars Wrigley, Andrew Clark, and his leadership team. So it is coming from top down, and we have the biggest sponsorship coming from the regional presidents. So, and for us to be successful without that leadership buy-in and that engagement, it is absolutely impossible. So it always starts from the top.
Yeah, it would just seem like it would just absolutely have to. So it seems like there's probably, again, this elephant that you guys are wrangling, that there's a lot of experimentation that would have to happen, and like learning as we go, and that it's maybe an iterative process. Am I right in that, or not necessarily?
Absolutely true there. The capability that our organizations have today, we might think that it is mature, and we might be, but that capability that we have today is not going to be the mature capability for tomorrow. So the maturity of analytics, the capability, it is the moving target.
Yeah.
So the only way to drive that maturity is through continuous experimentation. Now, within my team, the way 80% of every associate's time is related to building capabilities which are existing, the operational analytics, building value creation, etc. But I encourage the team to drive new capabilities. So there is a lot of experimentation and innovation which is driven by the team. And they are continuously working hard to think about what is the next best value case that we can think about for the organization.
So you brought up technology, which obviously is constantly changing. And, one of the things I know that you and I talked about before was sort of the juxtaposition or the prioritization of solving business problems versus just being focused on the data or the technology. How do you see the business problem really kind of being the horse that leads the cart?
Great point here, Bob. So let me give you what generally large organizations have a habit of doing. If you look a decade back, so we always talk about let's build a huge data foundation. Right. It used to be called the data warehouse in the past.
Data lake.
Data lake next. These days, people are calling it lake house. It's a combination of data warehouse and.
I haven't heard that one. All right, I've got a new buzzword. Thank you.
And what we are hearing in the industry is that it might be called data mission in the future. So people are building huge data foundation. Then on top of that, there'll be capabilities. People would generate knowledge and insights on that data foundation, which will drive some action, which will create some small value. This has been the model in the past. Now, when we are building the capability, we are so what is the challenge with that? The model in the past, we are building solutions which goes in search of a business problem that it wants to solve, not vice versa. And we wanted to completely change that. We wanted to change. It is not data first. It is business problem first, data second. So our operating model, it always starts with the value that you want to add to the organization. Once that is clear, we can understand what are the actions you need to take. And for that, what is the knowledge and insights you need to have? And for that, what is the data? So instead of building a solution which goes in search of a problem, we are identifying the problem and creating a solution that can address it. We call it the value first strategy, or a business-led analytics enabled strategy, or a decision-backed strategy. But the idea is, let's focus on value. That is going to be a game changer. And to do this in our organization, even within our team, we had to significantly influence the mindset of our associates as well. Data analytics traditionally is a cost center function, and we want to build a profit center mindset to these associates. How can you drive value to the organization? And that has been a significant transformation for us.
Well, it's interesting because I read an article just last week, and I want to say McKinsey, but it was one of the big consulting firms, and they were getting at why a lot of data science, AI, ML kinds of initiatives fail. And it's because the people working on those projects actually don't have the business acumen. They don't understand the business problem that they're solving. What they are technical experts in modeling or data technology, but they actually don't understand the business value proposition that they're assigned to solve for.
That's a really fair statement. And we have anticipated it, and we have talent addressing this. So generally organizations have, as you mentioned, Bob, based on the McKinsey article, right? Like there are data engineers who are high performance computing engineers. You have the data scientists who can take the data, create fantastic insights and models. Now, in our organization, we have a different kind of talent. We call it the product strategy leads, who are essentially operating as business translators. So the business translators have the ability to work with the business, frame the problem really well. And they're also analytics leaders who can interact really with the data sciences talent. So they operate as a bridge between a business and the data sciences team, and they are responsible for a lot of value creation in the organization. Identifying this talent is going to be very, very critical for our success.
Well, no, it's brilliant because, that's the bilingual liaison, right, between the business problem and the people that can actually do the technical work. And to find somebody that can bridge that gap is brilliant. I think that's a really smart move on your all's part. I'd like to talk a little bit about your team and the team that you're building at Mars. And we've sort of been speaking a little bit about technical capabilities and business stuff, but I know that at your company, like the values of the company, the mission, the purpose are really, really important to you guys. Could you maybe start helping shed a little bit of light on that, why that's so important?
Absolutely. So let me start by talking a little bit about Mars as an organization. So Mars is one of the world's largest family-owned companies in the world. We are a part of a purpose-led organization. We say the world we want tomorrow starts with how we do business today. And every segments within Mars also, we have a purpose that we are trying to fulfill. Now, you will not see many organizations, and I would encourage any potential aspirants to join Mars. You should take a look at Mars, and there is something called the 5 principles that we strongly believe in. There are organizations I have been part of who would put some principles on the walls, but associates don't follow. And this is a company where associates take the 5 principles really important and they implement it on a day-to-day way. So 5 principles is very important. The 5 principles are the quality, efficiency, mutuality, responsibility, and freedom. Now, these are the principles which the associates live by. Having a principle-led organization, a purpose-led organization, helps us to not only attract the talent, it helps us to engage them and retain them as well.
Do you mind just building on why is that?
Absolutely. So during most of our conversations with the talent that we hire, a lot of talent that we hire in the data analytics space are Gen Z, millennials, etc. The idea of mutuality is very important for them. See, organizations need to be free. They need to have the freedom to define their future, and to have that freedom, you need to have the profits to remain free. So profitability is very important. But all of us understand that we cannot be only thinking about profits. We need to think about the purpose and the mutuality. So the idea of mutuality is very well ingrained within the organization. So whenever we take a decision within the organization, we think about what is the impact on our customers, what is the impact on our consumers, what is the impact on our associates. In our pet segment, we always think about our pet parents, right? So this is a culture within the organization which is led by the family culture. So we have seen a lot of engagement. People who are purpose-led tend to stay within the organization, and we are able to attract a lot of like-minded individuals as well.
No, I think that's cool. And I know we're talking around this, but the notion, you taught this to me, the Japanese concept of ikigai.
Yes. So this is exactly the Japanese concept of ikigai, right? So ikigai is an intersection of what do you like to do, what the world wants, what are you capable of, and what is the world willing to pay. If you can find a job which is an intersection of all these 4, you're designing yourself for success. If you are only focusing on what you love or what you are good, I think you can call it as passion. If the world is not willing to pay for it, you won't be successful, and vice versa. So I think in an environment, if we can create your ikigai, I think every organizations are going to thrive. People are going to be happy. So that's the intersection that I was talking about.
No, I thank you for bringing that to my attention. It really resonates. I think in a way, it builds on in the book Good to Great, Jim Collins, and the hedgehog concept. It brings a 4th dimension to that hedgehog concept, which I think is really important.
Absolutely. See, I think in organizations, ikigai is a Japanese concept. To be successful, organizations are embracing this. So if you think about the idea of servant leadership, it tells the same idea. Like, how do you want to contribute, not only for you, not for your team, for the society. So that's the theme that we are talking about here.
Yeah, it's great stuff. And again, I know that you've really internalized this and just how important it is to you and the team that you're building there. Do you mind maybe sharing with folks a little bit about, the team that you are building and kind of where you are in the evolution of your organization?
So the on-demand data and analytics is young budding organization within Mars Wrigley. We started the program in the beginning of the year. So, and the purpose of this team was to own and operate a lot of capabilities that we have built in the past. This team will be taking over, and we will also be thinking about the next generational capability when it comes to data and analytics. And finally, how can we build the futuristic capability for the organization? It's a combination of these three things that we are trying to do. Now, so far we have close to 30 associates within the team, and we are expanding size in this organization. So, if you are interested, if you get a chance, the ODDA team, and we have some of our recruiters who are working really hard to reach out to the data and analytics community to attract the best talent. So please feel free to reach out, and I'm happy to make that right kind of introduction. We are thinking about building an end-to-end team which has talents like data engineering, DevOps engineers, product strategy leads. We have data sciences roles. There are leadership roles across the spectrum that we are looking at as we go through the process.
And what did you say that liaison role was called?
It's the business translator role. That is the product strategy lead role.
That's the product strategy lead. Okay.
Yeah. So that stays in between the data sciences and the business.
And what's career pathing like at Mars? If I joined your organization, is that probably where I'm going to stay, or is there an opportunity to go do other things? What's career pathing like?
Yeah, I think this is one of the unique selling point for Mars, and this is something our associates enjoy quite a bit as well. Now, if you're a data scientist joining on-demand data and analytics team, so let's say you are starting the team as part of media analytics, how to spend the media, how can we engage with the consumers better. Now, you have a business problem in one of the markets, say in the US, you solve that problem. Now, there might be a different problem that we are trying to solve in how to price and promote the product in the UK. So if you are joining as a data scientist, you will be you have the ability to solve different problems. So from a short-term standpoint, within the on-demand data and analytics team, there are different kinds of business problems that are very challenging, very interesting problems to solve. Then the second aspect of going within the different function. Broadly, I'm talking only about Mars Wrigley as a business till now. Now, Mars as an organization, we have 4 large segments. So one of the segment which I want to highlight is Mars Pet Care. The pet care as a function also has a lot of business problems, pet parent related problems, problems for the pet that a data and analytics team can solve. There is a large team. There is an opportunity for you to move from Mars Wrigley to pet. So if you are interested in exploring different kinds of problem, building different expertise, and building your career by solving different kinds of businesses as well, it's a very good place to be. So I had the opportunity to solve problems in the pet nutrition and the chocolate space in the first two years. Now I decided to join Mars Wrigley. So we are part of the broader snacking business umbrella that we are in. So this is a great opportunity to experience different kinds of business and the opportunity to learn a lot of new things.
No, that's very cool. So as you think about, the kind of characteristics or the qualities that you're looking for in people, let's sort of go that technical skills are table stakes. You got to be able to do most of the job. What kind of occurs to you?
So when it comes to technical skills, it could be different depending on the role. So between a data scientist and a data engineer or DevOps engineer. But if there is one thing which you need to have as a data and analytics practitioner, is a combination of 3 key skills. Your understanding of business, technology, and mathematics. It's a combination of these three things. Now you can be really good in your business and math skill. You might not be a technology expert. You can still be really good at what you do. But other than the three broader themes that I told, if there is one thing that I would encourage everybody to have, that learning mindset or the learning agility, because the technology of today won't be the technology of tomorrow. So if you can learn something really fast, you will be really upskill for solving the problems of the future. So learning ability is something that we continue to look for in associates who are willing to or who are interested in join, who are willing to make the leap of faith. The last aspect is the cultural fit. Now, Mars, we are Mars is a 100+ year old company. We are very relationship driven. So, along with the right kind of technical skills and the mindset, we want to understand if there is a good cultural fit as well. So that those are some of the key things that we look at in our data and analytics teams.
No, so a couple things. One is just on the learning thing. One of the guests we had on a couple, 3 months ago was Steve Cadigan, and he wrote a book called Workquake. Steve was the first human resources executive at LinkedIn. So like when they went from 400 to 4,000, he was leading that. And one of the basic premises of his book, Workquake, is learning agility is the new superpower. Because technology is changing so quickly that what's you just said a second ago, like what's in vogue today, will not be in vogue in 3 years. Something will have replaced it. And so the half-life of technology just keeps getting shorter. So it's the ability to be an agile learner that is really a superpower these days.
Absolutely, Bob. I think so that agility is going to be really important. Now, one more additional point that I would add when it comes to, data analytics technology, it's a huge space, right? You can get lost in the learning journey. So I grew up in India. So one of my leadership principle is always influenced by Mother Teresa. So she once told this thing: not all of us can do great things, but all of us can do small things with great love. And that is my encouragement to everybody if you are entering this space, you need to pick up the smallest area that you are really passionate about, be really good at it, then the rest will automatically follow. And that has helped me quite a bit as I am going through the journey now and in the past, etc.
That's brilliant advice. In an environment where people are talking about quiet quitting and kind of like doing the bare minimum, to not get fired or laid off or whatever. It's like, well, okay, but just know that somebody else is trying a little bit harder and is doing the best they can with the patch that they've been given. So don't be surprised when they're the ones who are being offered more responsibility because they've done little things with great care.
Exactly. And I've seen that behavior of learning, the entrepreneurial mindset being rewarded in organization like Mars. Actually, it's quite an entrepreneurial organization with a fantastic work culture.
One other thing that you said on the math, business, technology thing was you need to have two of them. You don't have to have all three of them. And for a lot of job seekers, they look at a job description and all the requirements and they get psyched out because companies are asking for unicorns and they just go, well, I don't know. I don't have all this stuff. Now, it's interesting. Women will not apply for something if they think that they don't meet 85 to 90% of the requirements. Men, on average, and this is just empirical data, will apply if they've got about 60%. So I think it's good for people to hear, very sophisticated organization like you guys, really smart guy like you, and saying, no, look, we're asking for all this stuff. We know we're asking for a lot. You don't necessarily have to have everything. By the way, that's part of the growth opportunity of coming to work here is we'll help teach you the stuff that you do want to know about to enhance your skills.
Oh, absolutely, Bob. And I think there are a few call outs that I want to make. The first is regarding the learning and development team. So we have something called the Mars University, which is quite active, and the community is quite active. And you can think about it as the learning and development college within our organization. So there are technical training programs, leadership training programs across all levels within the organization. Now, I am actively doing a learning and development program through Mars leadership program with the Oxford University Side Business School on economics of mutuality. So that's just an example. Now, the same thing is applicable for associates in every levels. There are different programs which is available. Now, the second call out that I want to give is for our Women of Digital Mars, or our leadership teams among women who are supporting and encouraging women to come and join the organization when it comes to digital and tech. Now, Bob, if you were to look at the industry average of gender diversity, now there are multiple aspects of diversity. I'll focus on the gender diversity in this topic. So when it comes to diversity in terms of gender, less than 30% of the workforce is female, right? That's a huge challenge in the technology industry. Mm-hmm. Now, when we started building the team, it was quite clear for us that we are going to build a team and we are going to focus on gender diversity. So with the help of the Women of Digital Mars, several other leaders within the organization, we started hiring process. Now, I'm really proud to tell you that more than 50% of my leadership team are strong women, and they are attracting fantastic diverse talent to the team, and we are able to make a significant change. And this is something our leadership I am really proud about on what is the right kind of team, the diversity that we want to bring as well.
Well, okay, so I'm super appreciative you bringing up the gender diversity piece. For people who are listening, a previous episode that we had the CFO for Capital One, former CFO at Capital One, who's a woman, Julie Elberfeld. And it's exactly what you're saying. It's like, unless you're very deliberate about, one, recognizing that it's an issue, and then B, running to it and addressing it. And lo and behold, what you find is you have a stronger team, right, as you bring that diversity in. So I would encourage people to go listen to that episode, because it is about women in technology and how under-indexed they are relative to other functional areas or just society at large. That's one. Two is at the end of November, this is 2022, we've got three ladies that are part of a group of 6 called the Band of Sisters. They're all ex-Pepsi executives and have gone on to be like the CMO of the NFL and have marketing at ESPN, CEO of some companies, but I mean, highly, highly accomplished women. And they've just published a book called You Should Smile More, which is something that men say to women in the workplace, not realizing that that's, not cool. And so I would encourage people to listen to that, because it gets to, again, what we're talking about here, the importance of gender diversity, lack of gender bias in the workplace, because the organization will always be richer when there's an even playing field.
And Bob, I'm looking forward to listening to that interview from you and the Band of Sisters. I'm looking forward to it. See, I think there are a lot of reasons why we need to give a lot of importance to inclusion and diversity. See, one aspect which we don't talk that much about is on the responsible level usage of artificial intelligence, responsible AI. Now, you would have heard or read many cases, including during the previous election, right? Like the influence of how the personal data can be misused for multiple reasons. Now, without getting into the details, when we are building out data and analytics team, having that responsible AI strategy is going to be very important, because your consumers are giving you their PII, the information which is very critical. So we are starting to build with the code of conduct. We are trying to see how can we avoid biases in the decision-making process. We are taking a lot of steps in storing this data in the most secure way. Mm-hmm. We are trying to build transparency on the decision-making. But one of the key aspects when we talk about data and analytics is the people who are doing the modeling, the data scientists. if that team is not diverse, if we are not having the right kind of voices, it is eventually going to create a disaster. So I think for anybody who is building out a team, you need to have a IND strategy when it comes to data and analytics, because that is very important to have a responsible AI which is going to run your organization.
Well, all I can say to that is amen. I just couldn't agree with you more. So we're coming up on time here a little bit. I've enjoyed so much. I've learned tons about Mars Wrigley, and the amazing team that you're building. Are there any final thoughts that you'd want to share with people before we let you go?
I'll tell you one more final story before.
Is it an animal story?
I think now all of you have heard from my examples that I am watching Discovery Channel that more than that is needed. But this is going to be a story about a bridge. This is a story about a bridge in Central America, the Honduran bridge called the Choluteca Bridge. So in the 1940s, the US government and the Honduran government collaborated to connect to vast majority of land in the country Honduras, the Central American country. The country was getting impacted by a lot of earthquake and floods, hurricanes, etc. So they built this bridge to last. The bridge is called the Choluteca Bridge. Do you know what happened several years later? Another hurricane hit the country. It's called the Hurricane Mitch. There was a lot of flooding. Now, nothing happened to the bridge. The bridge stayed intact, but the river changed its course. Now, you have a bridge with no water under the bridge. Now, I heard the story by an innovator, and we use this story, and this is very important for us as individuals, us as leaders, on what we are going to do. We used to use the term build to last in the past. Now, the new mantra should be built to adapt. Adaptability, agility is going to be really important. In the last 3 years, we had a hurricane like Mitch, which affected all of us, which is the pandemic. Things have changed. Consumer preferences have changed. The way we do business day to day have changed. So our ability to adapt and the ability to move things faster is going to be an important part of our success in our career and also in our organizations.
And that's such a great story. I don't know that story, so I'm going to go look that one up when we're done. But what hopefully doesn't change very quickly are the purpose and the values of the organization.
Absolutely. And that should be how your build should be built on, which is the purpose. If you are purpose-led, that is going to be your compass. Here is something that I would encourage everybody who are interested in Mars as an organization. Take a look at what is the associate compass, what is the 5 principles. And this is something you can learn quite a bit how organizations are thinking about building a purpose-led culture.
Well, I'm very excited about our conversation today. I appreciate everything that you shared with us. You clearly believe and have internalized those 5 values and purposes, and so I've learned a lot both about the business side of things and what you guys are doing to jump over lions and de-silo and do everything. The ability to be experimental and try new things and learn as we go. The importance of business value first, technology and data second, and then some of the wonderful things that we've talked about, like what makes for a successful associate on your team as it continues to grow and the capabilities continue to expand. So if people want to learn more about opportunities at Mars, what's the best way for them to do that?
So Bob and people who are listening, please feel free to reach out. I think I can share my LinkedIn connect. I'm happy to respond to you. Happy to make introductions. Here is a QR code for my LinkedIn. So if you have a mobile phone handy, smartphone handy, please do connect with me. I might not have all the answers to the questions you have, but I might be able to connect you with the right people within the organization. So looking forward to talking to a lot of you.
This has been such a pleasure. I've learned a ton. You're just a fun person to talk to. I learned a bunch of new stuff today, so thank you for that. Thank you, everyone who's been listening today and watching. And we hope that you enjoyed this. If you want to share this with someone, please do. And again, you can always listen to this again on your favorite podcast platform. So with that, Deepak, thank you again so much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, Bob, for this opportunity. And my closing comment, the world we want tomorrow starts with how we do business today. Thank you very much.
Awesome.